IVF or in vitro fertilization is a series of complex medical procedures used to help with the fertility or to prevent genetic problems and to assist with the conception of a child.
The overview of the process of IVF is that several mature egg cells is collected outside the female body and fertilized by a sperm in the laboratory. The fertilized eggs or embryos are then transferred to the uterus.
One full cycle of IVF can take about 3 weeks. Sometimes these steps can be split into different parts and the procedure can take longer. The procedure can be done using your own eggs and your partner's sperm.
Or IVF may involve eggs, sperm, or embryos from a known or anonymous donor. In some cases, a gestational carrier, a woman who has an embryo implanted in her uterus, might be used.
There are a lot of issues and controversies when in vitro fertilization was introduced in the world. Today, we will disprove all the misconceptions about IVF and we will try to investigate all the ethical issues about it.
We can remember a season from the American TV show Friends where Phoebe's uterus was used for in vitro fertilization. There were 4 embryos transferred in her uterus because the doctor said the more the embryos, the more chance of conceiving a baby. However, at the end of the season, Phoebe conceived all 4 babies.
With this situation, all the embryos lived. But what if in the case of other people where some embryos didn't live?
This is where the issue began, because other people might say it is unethical because of the embryos used in the selective pregnancies.
If embryo is viewed as a human being with rights associated with personhood, arresting its development will be considered wrong because it constitutes an act of murder.
However, personhood is a social construct that is shaped not only by objective nature but also by community needs and values. The Catholic Church believes that personhood occurs at the moment of conception.
Personhood is conferred with human organisms with whom human interactions are possible or occur. We can cuddle a baby, we cannot cuddle a zygote. We coo at an infant and he or she responds by smiling. Zygotes do not smile.
Babies have personalities and embryos do not. That is why babies are persons and embryos are not.
Another ethical issue in vitro fertilization is the absence of marital context in conceiving a baby. Do we really need marriage? Or are we just being dictated by their religion or social norms and pressure?
Marriage is wonderful and as well as appropriate. They possess all crucial attributes necessary to succeed in such a union. Some marriages may end up happy, healthy, and successful, and others might not.
If you value social acceptance, then just get married and do whatever it takes to stay married. But if you value deeper happiness, then you have to take a more complex approach.
Deeper happiness means that the only thing we can control is ourselves, and that everything changes. And sometimes people change and contracts means very little to the human spirit at the end of it all.
Everyone has the right and chance to have children, with or without marriage. It is illogical to impose the argument based on religious context against the happiness and choice of humans. It is more like controlling to become socially acceptable rather than to attain happiness.
Let's go now to the misconceptions about IVF. There's a hoax that in vitro fertilization is cancerous. Is this true?
There are no studies or scientific evidence that IVF is cancerous. There are usually some reports suggesting possible associations with borderline ovarian tumors.
However, these types of malignancies are usually genetic, or it has been there since the procedure of IVF.
Another misconception is that it is expensive and not for everyone.
Yes, for a third world country like us, IVF is really expensive for us. But in fact, IVF is the cheapest among the other fertilization surgeries such as NAPRA technology and ovulation induction.
Overall, even the society and the religion might harshly dictate to us what is right and wrong. It is up to the choice of the person because there is no universal principle in what is good and right.
Especially when those social norms and religious contexts imprisons our authenticity and happiness in life. Don't live forever regretting why you didn't have any child because of what people might say.
If you want a baby by a natural way, it is your choice. If you're not able to conceive because of infertility, you got to do something to fulfill your happiness on having a child.
You didn't come here on earth to blend in. to lose yourself in the crowd, or to pretend to be something you are not. You came here to honor yourself, to share your perfection and imperfection. And I'm Micaela Cruz.
And I'm Yumi D.
And I'm Abigail Salin.
I am Jetro Doyong.
And I'm Jalen Rain Romero saying, it's your life to do with as you please, as others' lives are for them. And no one should make you feel bad because you choose not to conform.